Goals, objectives, productivity, words you hear everywhere, ideas that you should implement and follow through to have a fulfilled and satisfying life. At least this is what you are being often told, but have you ever wondered, friend, if focusing too much on goals can actually get in the way of living a truly great life? Is there something more about pursuing achievements, something that is not as empty as ticking a checkbox at the end of the day? And more importantly, what can you do to give meaning to your objectives so that the satisfaction behind your actions lasts longer than the 5 minutes of dopamine excitement that you get when you hit a target? To have an answer to these questions, you need to understand that in order to have meaning behind your goals, you have to make them part of a vision. Goals are very specific and measurable. They represent a checkbox on a list, something that you need to do. Lose 10 kilos by end of May, read 10 books by end of the year, become a professional programmer after graduation. But goals have an end point. Once you have achieved one, you are done with it. And if you ever engaged in the practice of pursuing some goals and actually achieving them, you are probably familiar with the fulfillment sensation that you get once you are done, but also with the emptiness that you feel after a short while when you suddenly hear your brain ask, "Now what?" A vision, on the other hand, is a more broad and abstract idea of how you want your life to become in the future. A vision is a daydream that you have every now and then. It is an open-ended fantasy that you imagine for your life, the ideal that you strive for and might even get close to achieving at some point, but because it is an ideal, you will never entirely reach it. A vision is something that you might have a hard time putting into words, because you have to describe a world that does not yet exist, and being comfortable with not knowing exactly, with not having a complete answer, is something that most people have a hard time with. The fear of the unknown and the doubt of unanswered questions are the main elements that keep people focused on goals without meaning, on objectives without a clear purpose, on productivity for the sake of aimlessly doing something. Were you ever in a position, friend, where you set up goals just to fill in your day? Have you ever questioned the purpose of your actions while you were actually executing them? Were you ever depressed and anxious because of your goals and because of the fear that you might disappoint yourself by missing your high expectations? If your answer is yes for these questions, you might want to become more comfortable with the unknown part that comes with a vision, and to understand that even though goals alone are important, focusing on a vision and attributing meaning to your goals will have a greater impact in your life. Goals are great because they help you make measurable progress in life. They tell you what you need to do, but they don't provide any meaning, and this is the reason behind the surprising feeling of emptiness that comes after you achieve them. Think back of some examples from your own life. Maybe you have worked hard to graduate from engineering school. Maybe you have pushed yourself to become a champion in a sport or strived to learn a new language. You have paid your dues by putting in the hard work that was necessary, and you have achieved your goal. And yet, the thing that you remember most about that moment is how unexcited you actually felt. Countless hours of effort and sacrifice to hit a dead end. The reason for this is that your goal was not attached to a deeper and more significant vision, something that will put a meaningful reason behind your quest of achieving that goal. Graduating from engineering school would have been much more fulfilling if your vision would have been to discover in your lifetime a more sustainable way of producing energy. Learning a new language would have had more significance if your purpose was to move to another country to build a better life for yourself and your future family. A goal that is part of a vision becomes a building block for that vision, and the satisfaction that you get when you know you are making progress towards an ideal is incomparable to the empty sensation that a meaningless goal can bring. Learn, friend, to ask some questions when you set up your goals. Why are you pursuing this goal? Is this part of a bigger picture? And try to connect them to an overarching vision so that they become more satisfying both to achieve and to pursue. Keep in mind that being extremely goal-oriented can cause you to become single-minded, to be locked into your goal while nothing else matters, and this is something that can get in the way of your long-term success and satisfaction. When you set a goal, you are setting it based on your current knowledge about yourself and your environment, but things always change, and halfway through you may think differently, or an opportunity that did not exist arises. If you are locked into your goal, you will not be able to adapt to these changes, and you may end up staying on that goal path, determined to achieve it, even if that path may not lead to overall satisfaction in your life. Determination is a virtue, 100% agree, but when you are stubbornly chasing the wrong aim for the sake of reaching it, determination becomes a vice. A vision, on the other hand, gives you an ideal to aim at, but it also allows you to pivot to different pathways that will still get you to the same destination. If you want to become a doctor because you want to help people and serve others, but you realize along the way that you don't have the passion for it, you can still help people and serve others by changing course and becoming a teacher or a lawyer. Remember, friend, that becoming too goal-oriented can harden your mind and prevent you from adapting to the ever-changing environment around you. Having a vision-focused life allows you to stay agile and adaptable to change. Goals will always give you a short-term direction, but a vision is what will keep you going for the long run. Become the kind of man that sees himself as the craftsman of his own life. Think of goals as a tool, one of many, and your life vision as a blueprint. Understand that it would be foolish to expect that by simply putting your tools to work, a masterpiece will appear. You need a plan, a rough sketch, a blueprint of what you want the masterpiece to look like before you start using the tools. I dare you, friend, to take some time and ask yourself some questions. How do you want your life to be? What do you want it to look and feel like? Once you have a direction from these questions, create goals that will bring your reality closer in alignment with your ideal, and I promise that if you do this, you will find along the way that your life will be filled with less depression and anxiety, and more meaning and deep satisfaction. I dare you to dream and create a vision for your life, and then focus on the goals that will get you closer to that ideal. Put some meaning and purpose behind your actions and get out of the goal achieving the checkbox checking only mindset that has the potential to only fill your days with duties. Your satisfaction in life is not determined by your achievements, but by the meaning you put behind them. Are you daring enough to dream? Are you determined enough to live your dream? The choice is yours to make.